Can they see what we're seeing? The other guys?
Gotta wait until it connects to Facebook so I can. There we go. Share. And group. Post.
No.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Sword Path AMA. I am your host, Gwen. And joining us today is going to be Ormus, and then we have Miller Time, DeVry, and Gen. So we're going to bring them in real quick.
Smile.
All right. So, guys, welcome to the stream. Can you stop? We're going to start off with introducing yourself. Where do you play out of, and how many orders of warrior do you have? Ormus, you want to start?
Sure.
There we go.
So, my name's Ormus. I play out of Inland Ocean. 9 Orders of the Warrior. What else was there?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh.
My name's Miller. I play out of Shrouding Mist. 10 Orders of the Warrior.
I'm DeVry. I play out of Greenwood Keep. I have 8 Orders of the Warrior.
I'm Gen. I play out of Greenwood Keep also, and I have 7 Orders of the Warrior.
Wait, and whose baby is that?
It's my baby.
You stole that baby.
Yeah,
I did not steal this baby. We made this baby.
Oh, let's not have that discussion.
All right.
We should. Let's take a minute, have a long discussion about how babies are made.
All right. Well,
that was the subject.
Welcome,
Wait,
viewers.
which
This is the Sword AMA.
Oh, not the baby AMA?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as your questions come through towards the end of the stream, we will be able to answer. If you guys have any questions or you want something clarified from questions that I've asked, please feel free to comment, and we can have our guests kind of clarify their answers for you. So starting off, let's see. So are you guys in any knightly families, be that a nobility line or a under a knight? And if so, who?
I'll go first. I'm in the Kirkpatrick knightly family, and I'm a squire in that knightly family, and I'm under Sir Jack Darkmoon, and he's a flame knight.
Again, you want to
go? I am under Sir Rakesh or Lynn Brightsword out of Blackspire. He is a crown knight. I'm his squire.
I am under Sir Megiddo out of Celestial Kingdoms. He is a serpent, crown, and flame knight, and his lineage is the Amtgard lineage.
I'm squire to Sir Dogboy. He's a scrub from Io as well. I believe he's under Sir Derek Roth in a roundabout way. I don't know. Yeah.
Doesn't even know. Wait, what? And what kind of belt does he have?
Oh, he's a sword knight. Yeah. Yeah, he's a scrub.
Great.
Find out.
So you guys mentioned briefly how many Orders of the Warriors you have. Obviously looking towards the next steps, for those of you who have not hit 10 yet, what option or path are you hoping to reach your next Order of the Warrior? For those of you who are watching, your higher Orders of the Warriors either come from streaks or placing in certain tournaments. So, gentlemen, what are you hoping to do to achieve your next one?
I think I'll go first since I have the least in this group here. I kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit getting my 7th. I have 2 options going forward. I either have to win 2 kingdom level tournaments or get a big streak in my next one. So I think it's a little harder for me to pull off the next one, especially if I just try to go, by tournament wins. But that's the path forward I've got. I've got streaks or tournaments to get my 8th.
So I hope to earn my 9th by both getting a 19 streak
Are we
and
missing Ryan
winning
right
the
now?
tournament.
Because I'm not like seeing
Are
or
we?
hearing him at all.
What's that?
Is my
We
not up?
missing Ryan right now? Like, because I'm
No,
not.
he's here.
No.
Make sure you don't have him muted, Miller Time. If you accidentally hit a button.
Nah, I haven't touched
Testing,
anything since you've been on.
testing.
So I have no.
I hear DeVry. He's good.
Yeah, I hear him too.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see him.
Okay. So I hope to overachieve and get both a 19 streak and then win that tournament. But I'll take either. Really.
I don't know. Should I just you want me just to jump out and try to add me back in?
Yeah, go ahead and jump out, Miller, and we'll add you back in. Let's see what's going on. Cool. We'll bring him back in.
Excuse me for a second. There comes his head.
Sorry, guys, we just lost Miller for a second. He's having some problems. Can't hear DeVry for whatever reason.
Because he doesn't really like me that much.
You are kind of quiet.
Am I? I'm talking through a mic. Is that any better?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. DeVry, try talking again. Let's see if Miller can hear you now.
Miller time.
Yeah, I got you. Good. Can you guys hear me? Everything good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool.
Okay, so DeVry, sorry, you got interrupted. What way are you hoping to earn your next Order of the Warrior?
I would like to both get the 19 streak and win the tournament and kind of overachieve, but I'll take either.
Yeah.
So for mine, still trying to get my 10. I'm always a little conflicted because I was told early on that no matter what the qualifications, you should get it through streaks. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a warlord, you got to be winning tournaments. So either way is really fine with me.
Cool. And then Miller, you have 10 Orders of the Warrior. So obviously the next step is Warlord. So is there a tournament that you particularly want to win to kind of put that next step on your box tops, or what are you hoping to do next?
I mean, something national would be really cool, or traveling to a big event and winning something like that would be really awesome. But as far as Warlord goes, I think what I need to do right now is just show a lot of consistency, even if it's in my own kingdom. I think that I need to prove that consistency, whether it's through streaks or tournament wins. I'd like to get both, but
Right.
I'd have something significant, like a big streak, something like that.
Cool. Sounds good, guys.
There's a question in chat. Maddie and Savvy are both qualified, but they didn't want to join, correct?
That is correct. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Which is totally okay.
Maybe
And we like those guys. They were definitely invited, but not everybody likes to have their face put on the internet. So definitely understandable. Let's see. So, what drives your guys' passion for fighting? What gets you motivated to go the next day and keep at it, keep doing the tournaments, keep fighting and ditching and going at it? What really drives you?
I'll start.
Okay.
It's we don't have a set order. Maybe we should do one.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Oh, man.
I just really like hitting people a lot. If I'm not hitting people, I'm generally thinking about how to hit people. So that's kind of it.
I feel like you don't get to this point where you'd be invited to this if you don't have a natural level of competitiveness. So it's almost like the drive is it's kind of natural. It's just there. I'm not saying you can't manufacture it, find motivating factors, and there's times where you need to do that. But for the most part, like I never need someone to be like, "Hey, let's go ditch." It's just kind of what I wanted to do to begin with.
Yep, I'd agree, Wormus. Like, I like feeling that I'm good, and I like fighting. So, just going out there and doing it fulfill both those needs, I think.
Yeah.
I would say like I don't know. Like when I was growing up, I was a huge mark to swords and fighting and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. So that's like a huge part of it. Huge passion about like why fight or why hit people with wacky bats. But like all around, I don't know. It makes me hella happy. I don't know. It just puts me into a good mood, and it just I don't know. It just gives me like a euphoria that nothing else gives.
So also along the path of sword, obviously honor takes place in the fighting realm a lot. We are an honor-based game, so how important do you guys feel orders of the Griffin are in when you're working towards the sword path? Like, do they mean anything to you? How do you guys feel about them?
They mean a lot to me. I only have 2 of them, and I think they're a really often overlooked award. People sit on the sidelines and say Griffin in a tournament, but rarely are those actually recommended and handed out. And I think it's just recognizing someone's skill and honor and courtesy to the people that they're fighting, that they're being honest throughout, and it gets overlooked too much, I think.
Hermes?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree. I think it might be the most overlooked award in the game, as far as both recognition for honor, but also encouragement of honor, like positive reinforcement of doing the right thing. But it's really important, and I mean, honestly, it hit a point where I was like, getting Griffins was probably the more meaningful award, because I mean the Orders of the Warrior are really you get them through merit, as far as like if you do this thing, you normally get awarded because it says specifically that that's what you get. But Griffins are so subjective; it's a bigger recognition that people saw it and recognized it.
DeBrier Miller.
Yeah, I'll go. I would say, like, as far as fighting goes, it goes hand in hand. Like, skill and respect and honor. They're like, I don't know. They're 2 things that definitely go together. If you kind of break it down, it's like 2 people can't really fight unless they have that respect for each other to take each other's shots. I know a lot of the Griffin Award applies on other things, but we see it only necessarily with like fighting or combat and stuff like that. It's undermined a lot, but I think that it's necessarily like a who sees what. I would like to see like more Griffins kind of going out for like personal reasons. Like I feel like too many Griffins go out for honor and chivalry on the battlefield, but it's never explained what happened. And I think it'd be more significant if it did. It's a huge thing in our game that applies with everything. So just kind of not having it is just like it's like those jelly beans you used to get when you're a kid that were just like never flavored and they were like great colors, but when you ate them, they gave you a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's fighting without honor, basically. So that's I don't know. That's how I pick it up. It's just something that you have to have or have some relevance of.
Beyond beyond Amtgard, I do a lot of martial arts as well, and if you can't trust the people you're training with, then people aren't going to want to train with you. The same thing goes in Amtgard. If they can't trust you to take your shots and be honorable, people aren't going to want to play with you. What's the point of being the best fighter if nobody wants to fucking play with you? It's a bad place to be. And I do believe the Griffin is underrepresented. It's not given out enough.
Yeah, I mean, when we start getting up to these like points where we just have to be aware that like people are looking up to us whether we want them to or not. So we gotta serve as that example. So if we make the game crappy.
Right. Awesome. All right. So next question is, what is something in fighting you want to master? Like, what do you want to be known for? Like this is what I go to Miller Time for. This is what I go to Gen for. This is what I go to Oramus for. Like, what do you want to be known as a master of?
Madu and short sword. That's my go-to style. I want to be known for that. I want to get good at it.
I would say my feints and fakes and my like reading returns and setups. Like obviously flow, but if it wasn't a category, it'd be those things.
Right.
Something that I would really like to get better at and master and be known for is controlling the tempo and setting up the exchanges to where they're advantageous for me rather than just kind of falling into them. I need to make sure that the fight is advantageous for me when we start it.
For me, my first thought was like, just like sword and shield because that's kind of already my thing. But what I really want to be known for is like being able, or what I really want to master is the mental aspect. Like, I want to be able to. I'm gonna say, hey, I want to outsmart my opponents in combat, so I'm gonna go talk to Oramus and see how he does that, like that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Chris Saltz asked a good question. If we can field that.
Yeah. So let's see.
No, forget that guy.
So yeah, let's ask it real quick because that's a good question. Oop, I hit my. So Chris's question is, when do you guys feel that significant competition comes into play when it comes to streaks when awarding Order of the Warriors? How do you guys feel about that?
I actually have the rule book up.
It's 8 or higher by the rule book.
I think it's 7 or higher.
I think it's 7 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really though, like if somebody keeping, I don't know, it's kind of a rough question because like if someone's getting their 6th Order of the Warrior and they were in a tournament getting streaks off of everyone who only has like 1 or 2, that's kind of iffy.
Yeah, it really depends on the moment, I would say, as well as like the culture and how many like people of like how many skilled fighters are out there, how many people have the orders of requirement.
Yeah, I think it really varies significantly by the number of active high-level fighters you have in the kingdom. If at that time you only have a bunch of 7th level orders, well, then whoever's winning out of those 7th level orders should be progressing to the next Order of the Warrior. If you don't have a warlord or something to measure against, then you can't use that as a measuring stick.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me the short answer is kind of always like it's like I wouldn't keep someone from getting their 1st Order of the Warrior or 2nd Order of the Warrior, but it should always kind of be kept in mind, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give somebody their 5th Order or 6th Order of the Warrior for going to a tournament and streaking in a Shire or something,
No
like,
doubt.
Like a bunch of brand new players.
Yeah, I mean, technically they may have earned it, but I would be a little hesitant to give it to them,
Mm-hmm. Right, especially because like 6 is kind of like starting to breach that gap. Like after 6, it's 7, and then you're like like becoming one of the top dogs. So it's kind of like that first step into that higher level pool. So
No, exactly.
cool. All right, so moving on to the next question. If you guys were going to spend a whole day fighting someone, who would it be and why? Let's start with Gen.
I mean, as much as I'd like to fight someone specifically, I don't know if I would want to spend the whole day fighting just one person. I don't. After a while, I feel like both of our we'd just be mush, and would want to change it up, keep it more engaging.
Hmm.
But if I had to pick somebody, probably Dallas.
Cool. Miller time?
And this is like anybody.
Yeah, anybody like in all of Amtgard, like who would you hit up and be like, we're fighting 24 hours, like this is it.
In this moment, like if this was like a freebie, like I'd probably want to fight Spindrift just because I never see that guy like ever at events anymore, and I never actually really got to fight him. Like I got to see him and fight him when I was younger, like 20 years old, and now that I'm older and I'm on a way more skilled or whatever, I would love to fight him. I'd love to pull his Spindrift sword and board spin on him. Like I'd love to do something like that. Fight him quarantine.
I'm not exactly sure who specifically I'd like to fight for 24 hours. That sounds like a lot of work.
I mean, you have breaks.
Right. I would want somebody who's really good at reading and giving ideas to build blueprints. Because if I was fighting somebody for that long, then I would need somebody who I'd get something out of it that would be willing to, like, all right, after this amount of fighting, these are the things you need to work on. So Delos should be good at that. I think Peter the Quick would be good at that. Brett would probably be pretty good at that. Basically, people who are good at teaching and fighting
Right.
would be my main like picks.
Was it kind of for the same reason that the Brian mentioned for being someone who could teach too? One of my first thoughts was Anatole.
Yeah, Anatole's definitely up there.
Yeah, because I've never fought him. I heard he's a really good teacher. My second choice would be Robin, just because, like, for different reasons of the fact that, because of our relationship, he's a lot of fun to fight. He's also hella creative, so it's always a challenge. But if I only got like a one-shot thing, I could fight Robin another time.
Oh, hey, Delos just joined the stream.
Nice. What up, dude?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So next question is, what has been the most rewarding thing in your fighting so far? So that could be like earning your next warrior. It could be learning a new shot, anything. Like, what has been the most rewarding for you guys from beginning to end now?
I'd say for me, having something, I really enjoy teaching, so having something that I know enough about to pass on has been fun. And fighting is the only thing I really know enough about, I feel like, to really teach. So that would be the main thing. And then also, like, yeah, I don't know. That's probably it. Just being able to pass on, and see other people improve from stuff that I've taught them.
I think just progression over time is more rewarding. Being able to look back and going from being the new guy that gets beat on every weekend to now just being able to hold my own and be confident with walking out onto the field it's a good feeling.
Miller, you go.
I'd have to kind of agree a bit with Gen on that. Is that just looking back on it, just kind of seeing where I am now and how much I've improved and everything I've went through, just kind of all of it as a whole. It's a big thing I think about. I constantly get reminded of by little things at times and stuff like that. Another thing to add on, like what Ormus said, like being able to like throw down, teach somebody something, and then like later on see them use it. It's really cool too. Like both good things. I don't know. Basically that like my journey in a whole. So I'd say nothing like significant, but like all of it.
For me, there's a couple things. One, I like to teach. I teach martial arts, and I like to teach in Amtgard. I like to have answers for people. Two, just kind of getting the respect of the other fighters. For a long time, I was just a dude, and now I'm one of the dudes, so it's cool. And then finally, like, learning how to spin a couple years ago and being the fat kid that spins was really fun. I'm losing a little weight, so it's a little less impressive now, but it was fun.
Yeah, you'll kind of be a monster if you like cut down even more to Bry. Like it'll be
Hey,
great.
hey now, I'm working on it. I didn't just have a cheat meal.
You won't have as much force
I
behind.
don't have pizza waiting out there for me.
I didn't order Indian.
Awesome. Anything else you guys want to mention in that question?
I already forgot what the question was.
It's on the bottom of the screen if you forgot.
Oh,
It's pretty fancy. I like that, by the way.
I should have watched one of the other AMAs you did.
Well, I'm all right. So next question for you guys. So what is your favorite part about high level tournaments? And then second part, what is your least favorite part of those high level tournaments? Let's start with DeBry.
I've always been incredibly competitive. And if there's nothing to rise to, if there's no challenge to rise to, it really takes the edge off. So like losing sucks, but winning's fun, but it's only fun if it's a real challenge. Like it feels good to stomp a bunch of puppies, but it doesn't feel that good. It's kind of, same old. So I really do love that high level. Even if I lose, I'd rather lose to good people than win against, new people. And as far as what I really don't like is because I'm so competitive, I get into my own head and people think I'm mad at them or something. And I don't like to make other people feel uncomfortable because I'm pissed at myself. So that's something I've really worked on over the last few years.
Miller time?
As far as like what I look forward to is everyone showing up. Like all the sword knights, all the first to third orders of the warrior, all the hungry seventh orders of the warrior, everybody. Like I want, like that's what I look forward to in a kingdom level, high level tournament, big event or anything like that. Is everybody there? People I haven't fought that are good for years or like anything, like people showing up out of the woodwork or older guys or older cats or stuff like that. And I'd say, I don't know, I'm more of a positive person when it comes to tournaments. So they kind of all make me happy. But as far as like being like the things I hate about them would be like just some of the poor attitudes, some of the bad honor. You know what I mean? This is big tournament. Everybody's here, like, or nobody's here. And it's just like some bad honor arguments. It's just, I don't know. That's the worst thing. That's the thing I hate.
Ormus?
I would say my favorite part is, it's not everybody. When we're saying big tournament, I'm kind of assuming that's like a lot of the top guys come out. And one of my favorite things is when someone I mentioned earlier, like obviously our natural level of competitiveness and having the higher end fighters come out, or the fighters that have more orders or have accomplished more come out, and they have their spot kind of on the mountain and you're coming there to knock them off. It's kind of fun. Like you see them and like you get to have like laugh and have your jokes. Like, hey man, it's been a long time, but I'm coming for your lunch money. And I don't know, just that it's normally really friendly competition, but it's still competitive. And so it kind of fills our need for competitiveness without being negative. But the thing that like, my least favorite thing, I think, is the expectation once you've gotten to a certain point, and it's kind of like I don't know. it sucks because like if you go into a tournament and you do really well after you've achieved a certain point, they'll say like, well, yeah, you were supposed to. But if you lose, it's like, obviously it's a big disappointment, stuff like that. So there's no way to really come out on top. You can only come out kind of even. You either underachieve or you just did what you were supposed to do. So it's kind of frustrating sometimes.
Hitting consistency with that is one of the most frustrating things too. When that's going on over like 9 months or like the whole summer.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I got like 2 years of fucking second placements in tournaments. It's just so frustrating sometimes.
Again, how about you?
My favorite thing is the fighting. Just seeing who shows up, who I look forward to fight, who I'm not looking forward to fight, who I haven't fought in a while. It makes it really fun. I enjoy just the randomness of how the day can go. But what I don't like is just personally the pressure of tournaments really gets to me. I feel like I fight much better in a game where there's not a lot of like you've got to win this or you don't progress in this path you're going down kind of thing. And in a tournament, that kind of thing really gets in my head and can mess me up throughout the day. So it's something I'm working on defeating within myself so I can do better. But that's what I got, I guess.
All right.
There was a really good question from Alan. If we want to get to any of these audience questions, there's a few others floating around in there.
Yeah, most of our questions I'll go back through and ask towards the end, just for time purpose. But there is one that's similar to one that I wanted to ask anyways, and this is from Dagon, and it's what's your list of top NL fighters, and who have you learned most from? So then also wrapping into that, like when you go into the Northern Lights tournament, like who are you hoping to be there to fight? Like whether it's a really high-end top-end fighter or just like somebody you love fighting because they're fun. Like that's kind of what I want to know also.
How big of a list are we talking?
Let's like 5 people, like 6 people. I don't know, or 2.
And we're considering active fighters, yeah, or non-active,
or inactive. I mean, if you're like praying to a higher power that somebody's going to walk out of the woodwork, like.
And this is just our kingdom, right?
Yeah, just in our kingdom. Anybody?
So I'll start. As far as the top fighters, so my list is going to be in no particular order, mostly because we are all super competitive. They'll probably get offended. So I would say Duke, Dog Boy, Show. Are we keeping people off the list? People who aren't in this group?
Anybody you want, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard because Northern Lights has so many scrubs. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, besides that, like some of my favorite fighters would probably be like I like fighting. It's hella nepotism, but I like fighting Talius because he's creative and he's fun to fight. But Miller and DeVry. Oh right, Moses. I always think of him as like a Belgrade guy. Yeah, Moses too is one of the best. As far as who I want to fight in a tournament, it's kind of one of two things. It's either whoever the best guys are at the time, because my fighting, I feel like I fight my best fights against the top competition, or whoever's been talking shit. I want to fight them.
Gen, how about you?
Everybody in this panel, honestly, the 3 of you guys, because you're always going to be there, so I know it. I always hope that Dog Boy and Duke show up. Show is always a nice surprise. Shaden when he makes it. And honestly, the guy who beat me last time, I really hope whoever that was shows up. Right. Just so I can try and beat him this time.
Oh, you mean like in general?
Just in general, whoever beat me out last time, I hope they're there.
I was like, who beat you in the last tournament that you like are gunning for? This is one particular guy.
Just whoever it is, Nebulous doesn't matter right now, but whoever really handed it to me in the last tournament, I really hope they show up.
Nice. DeVar?
So I'm not going to include inactive fighters. So as much as I'd love to include Cyric and Show, they're not really showing up right now. So Dogboy and Duke. I don't know how much Shaden's fighting. He would probably have to be on the list. He's earned it. So basically, the 3 active warlords are going to be on the list. I'm going to give them a granted, and I'm going to give a couple more. Oramus, Miller, Moses, Maddie, Savvy, and then I'm probably in there mixed in depending on who I'm matching up with. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that's really standing out. In Pacific North, in Northern Lights, I think that's pretty much all the top dogs. You got your warlords, and then you got those guys kind of nipping at their heels. So, but we said Northern Lights, Alan.
Awesome. Miller?
I'd have to agree, like, with DeVar a lot about like as far as Shaden and Dogboy go, and Duke, like they're there, and like if I had to list 5, like as far as the top, it'd be like right now in this moment, in my personal opinion, it'd be like Dogboy, Duke, Ormus, Maddie, Moses, and DeVry.
Hey, you're not putting yourself in there, buddy?
I mean,
he can't fight himself.
You gotta.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I need
Oh,
to put myself in a list like that. And
that's fair.
as far as like one of my favorite people to fight right now, is probably, I would say off the top of my head, like right now, Justinius. Justinius is a good fight for me right now. I like fighting him.
Nice. If you guys aren't watching comments, Cyric just said that this is the perfect example of competitiveness because he's not hearing his name enough, so he has to fix that.
Amtgarders are real short, bro. Real short.
So
there's a lot of people asking who you were at the Day of the Ditch, Chris.
so let's bump it up a little bit more. So, if you guys could fight anybody in the Pacific Northwest in a tournament, so including Viridian Outlands and Black Spire, is there any other names that you guys would throw in there that you would hope to see show up to a tournament?
That doesn't show up regularly?
Yeah, or like you would just like hope to see them at an NL tournament one time. Because we know we don't travel as much as we should to each other's weapon masters. We're all so close, but
I would like to see how Anatole comes out and smashes us if that was an option.
I don't think that
cool.
Southern or California or New Mexico or whatever counts as the Pacific Northwest. Right?
Yeah.
Man. Oh, well then I want to see Robin come out more.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Oh, whoever, like I would say, whoever the top people from Black Spire are, so we could show that we're superior. I'd like to fight Derek Ross some more because I haven't gotten to too much. And then Robin, I guess he's not very good though.
No, he just rolls off weapon masters. It's fine.
That was so long ago. You'll never let that go.
No, I won't. Again, you want to add anybody to your list?
I like it when Lunar shows up. He's always fun to fight.
Oh yeah, Mr. Lunar Fox.
Yeah.
Miller?
As far as Viridian Outlands, I haven't heard anything from like Tiny or Twixter forever. So like, and like they're pretty far up there. I haven't heard anything from them. Haven't really fought them for a while, for like a good year. Like Raven, I'm always looking for Raven to show up. As far as Black Spire, like the one person that really stands out to me right now is that Critias kid that showed up to the Day of the Ditch. I want to see him.
Oh, Critty.
Yeah, I want to see him come down here and like get in our tournaments and see what happens.
He needs to move up here. He's too good for Black Spire.
Black Spire
Get
can't
out
have
of
it.
Dragon's Field.
That's fuck. Oh, God, I keep doing that. I'm
Yeah.
bad at this.
Hope there's no children watching. All right, let's see.
Wasn't it Charles Barkley who said I'm a basketball player, not a role model?
Oh gosh.
I want to address a question really quick from Alan because it was a really good question, if that's possible.
Yeah, let's do it.
He said, "What's a watershed moment? What's your watershed moment, if any?" And he's got a definition of watershed moment if anybody needs it.
I do.
Oh, okay. A watershed moment is basically a turning point, a moment where nothing's ever going to be the same for you as far as you're fighting, like something that changed you.
I would say for me it was probably either my trip to, so I was able to go to SKBC in California and I went to Clan when Northern Lights got their kingdom status. I would say either one of those events, it just kind of changed my perspective on what fighting was because my earlier experiences of outside of Black Spire and the Northwest. So it kind of changed what my expectation of or what needed, what fighting required and what it took to be really great and what fighting could be. Honestly, it was such a different style and it was eye-opening.
Miller time?
I'd have to kind of agree. Like, big event, big outside event. Well, my first SKBC that Ormus's Night basically invited me to, and I ended up going down there with like Odin and Turtle and Lunar, and we went and Hannibal, and we went down there. It was my first SKBC ever. And after that, like, I remember thinking about it after that, it was like, yeah, it's time to get real about it. It's time to like put in a lot of diligence into like fighting and getting better and stuff like that. Or like I'd say a runner up to that would probably be like SKBC California. And what really changed me is like one of my like huge mentors, like BTQ, basically came to me and Lunar, like during our like card time, like at SKBC to give you the cards or whatever, and like we got his card, and he was telling us like that he was just proud of us and how far we've come, and then he was like really proud of like how much we've learned. So that was like really life changing for me, and that was like, man, like that was at the point where I was like, wow, I could actually like call myself good.
Genner DeVries, you got anything to add?
I do. Gen, do you got anything?
Not really. Big events really change it, especially out of kingdom ones. They show you how many more people are out there and what kind of different fighting there can be. So really eye-opening.
So mine is actually a lot like that question we just answered, which was who are your top fighters in the Northern Lights?
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was top 10 and a bunch of people answered, and they answered, your standard sword knights and then a few other people, and it was cool. And then Show answered and said, I'm going to take all the warlords and sword knights out of it, and then answered, and I still wasn't in the top 10. And I'd been playing at that point for like 13 or 14 years. So I'm like, I'm still not in the top 15, and I've been playing for 14 years.
Oh.
Screw this. And I got super pissed, and I started playing a lot. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. My question. So what do you guys consider to be your signature shot if you have one? And you can be like with any weapon combination. Like, what do you like to throw? What is like the money? Like every time you throw this, you're like, this is gonna land. Like, I don't care what's happening. Miller, you got to smile. You want to go first?
I was just thinking about like the percentage of landing. Like I was gonna say have shots, but like I don't know about their percentage of landing.
I don't know if I have a shot that I throw it and I know it's gonna land. So
I
every
would say,
time.
like, my signature shot is probably the G Wind and the G Magic, just because they go along together. And a little bit with the 512. I feel like I brought the 512 to NL. Like, I feel like I was the first person to start throwing it and have it land on people and make it look like really good.
Nice. DeVry, you want to go?
I don't know. I started spinning, so those are fun, but I don't know if I'd call those signature shots. I don't think I do anything that's like flashy enough other than those to call them a signature shot. I know when I fight Flo, one of my favorite shots is a combination. It's super basic. It's a stab to the left hip quadrant, and then if they move their board, you just chop the shoulder, board side shoulder. That's great. I do have a signature shot with a pole arm. I chop down on the sword side because I fight right hand forward. Most people fight pole left hand forward. I fight right hand forward. I chop sword side, and then I shovel up and try to pop their sword out of their hand. It's a lot of fun.
Disarm. Yeah, that's sick.
I would say my signature shot, it's not flashy at all. It's super basic, but it's just the pump fake to board wrap. I got like at least 7 of my Orders of the Warrior with just that shot.
I hate that. It makes me so mad with that.
I used to live on that shot. That thing was like air for me.
You like pound me into the ground for like 4 years of my life with that shot.
Yeah, dude. It was good. It was good. People started figuring it out. I had to get more creative, but for a while, I didn't.
Again, is there, even if it doesn't land all the time, is there something that you like to throw? Like this is your own?
There's one that I throw when I'm doing sword and board that I get a lot of people with. I'll throw down for their left leg, come up into their sword side armpit. And I usually get kills with that, especially if I end up getting a leg. So I throw that one a lot.
Good one.
All right. So next question. What's your favorite fighting style? And then what's your least favorite? So this could be like the standard, any of the standard 5 that we use for most NL tournaments, or it could be a weird open weapon combination. Like, what's your bread and butter, and what are you like, I'm crap at this? Ormus, do you want to go?
Sure. So my favorite and my best are 2 different things. My best combination is sword and shield. My favorite weapon style is to have a super light 2-handed sword with a crossguard, and the attempt the whole time is pretty much fight with both your hands on the sword the entire time. Some of my favorite and funnest fights have been like ditching with this stupid 2-handed sword. And I'm probably more fun doing that than anything else, honestly.
And then what's your least favorite?
Oh, my least favorite single short, hands down, is terrible. And I think we should never do it again. It should be outlawed. Yeah, but no big deal.
Again, what's your favorite and your least favorite?
So like 2 favorites. I do like using a 2-handed greatsword a lot, like Ormus. It's way too much fun, honestly. And then Madu and short sword. We talked earlier about what you want to be kind of known for with fighting. And that's I really do like it. And I think what I'm the worst at, the least favorite, is probably Florentine. I need to work on that a lot.
DeVry, how about you?
My favorite would be either pole or flow. My least favorite, can I say bow? Because I'm trash at a bow.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trash with a bow. Like, if I'm playing archer, don't pick me. Like, it's a thrown away pick.
I feel that way in all battle games, no matter what class I'm playing.
Miller time?
I'd have to go with flow, of course. If I was stranded on a desert island and I can only fight one style for the rest of my life on that island against people on that island, it would be flow. And as far as like the weapon style I dislike the most would probably be down sword and offhand, or down stick and offhand sword.
Oh yeah.
Like dealing with it and fighting against it is just, I can't stand it.
I don't know what to fight with you against.
Right. So similar question. So what do you guys like fighting against? So like if you have your best weapon combo, like if you're looking either for like a really good fight or like a fight where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna smash this guy because I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Like what kind of weapon combo are you hoping to fight against with your like bread and butter?
Florentine single
If what was
for
that?
me. Florentine single for me. If I'm going Madu,
Yeah,
get that shield out of the way. They're done.
stick him.
My favorite with Florentine is I love to fight against boards. And then if I'm fighting pole, if I can fight against either a shorter pole or flow or single sword, I'm happy. Boardman, just a little bit more difficult.
I would say with mine for either the great sword or the sword and shield. Mostly sword. I would rather fight sword and shield because I feel like because I do it so much, I kind of have a good idea of how I can manipulate it, and I don't know. I just feel more comfortable. I feel like I can relax and control the fight a little bit if they just got the one sword and the shield. The by the way, the pump fake shoulder wrap works with a really light two-handed sword too. Try it sometime.
Miller Time, how about you? What would you like to fight against?
I like to fight kind of like opposites. So with mine being Florentine, I'd like to fight a sword and board.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Florentine is the opposite to sword and board. Like when I like to fight sword and board, I like to fight Florentine more than like fighting sword and board versus sword and board. If that makes sense.
My least favorite thing is fighting Florentine versus Florentine. It's messy, it's gross. Like I feel like nobody knows what's going on. Like so fighting opposites is a good
one person not using their left hand like the whole time.
Yeah. All right. So next question: do you guys remember how you got your first Order of the Warrior? And if not your first, like what's the one farthest back that you can remember, like how you got it or what you got it for?
I was gonna say I'll go first.
Yeah.
So like previously before I came to Amtgard, I like kind of played it when I was younger, from like 14 to 15, and then I like took a big break and came back at 18. So people didn't necessarily know that I knew how to fight when I came back on the field. They're like new honor, taking shots and stuff like that. And there was like a tournament a few weeks before SMC, like Shining Mist Camp Out. And pretty sure I either got a streak of 3. I'd have to look it up to see if it was a streak of 3 or Battlefield Prowess, but they gave it to me at SMC. So like the 2 weeks later at the camp out.
That's
so that
cool.
was like the first Order of the Warrior.
Again, do you want to go?
Yeah, I got mine for a 3 streak in a tournament at Greenwood Keep. It was one of the first tournaments. It was like within my first year or so, and I was so happy about it. But, yeah, I got my first 3 streak.
Ormus?
So I never technically had a first Order of the Warrior or a second, because when we by the time we had been playing long enough to learn about Orders of the Warrior, at the time, Orders of the Warrior didn't have to be awarded one at a time. You could earn more than one in one streak. And I had gotten like it was at least a 7 streak, because my first Order of the Warrior that I got was actually my third that they had jumped straight to at the time.
So they give you 1, 2, 3, like in one swell
Well,
swoop.
no, technically they never gave me 1 or 2. They just said, "Here's your third."
Oh.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's how it worked back at the time. It was back in like 2006, and the rules were a little bit different. But I remember the street. I remember the tournament. It was at Braun. I got to fight one of the guys that I got to beat for it was a dude named Rain, an way old school Church of the Apocalypse guy. And he was fun, but
I think I remember him.
Yeah, from way back.
Yeah.
DeVry?
Yeah, so my first Order of the Warrior, I don't remember. I'd been playing for like 3 years when I got it. And it doesn't say why. Under it says took long enough. In quotes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
3 years, damn, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
J-Man
For
gave it to
the
you.
first one, yeah, Jay gave it to me. The first warrior I remember was I placed third in a weapon master in 2015, and I think that was probably around the time that Show annoyed me with his list, and I started taking it serious. So I don't really remember the tournament very well, but I remember getting the award and going, "Cool, that's some validation." So all
Nice.
the other ones before that, I don't remember any of them. I don't remember getting them. I don't have them. I don't have most of my paper awards. I'm not a very good like record keeper. I shouldn't be a PM.
I have like all of mine except for like my last two roses. I don't have either of those for whatever reason, but it's fine. All right. Let's see. Do you guys have any advice for players who are just starting out in the sword path or are kind of hitting that like middle ground? Like, what advice do you guys have for them for like keeping at it? Because obviously the sword path is probably one of the most difficult paths when it comes towards ladder awards because it's more physical rather than like, you know, you just can't spend money and make stuff and learn how to do these crafts. Like you have to physically do the work with your body. So like what kind of advice do you guys have for players?
Don't get discouraged. DeVry has something. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so first of all, if you want to get good at something, you need to do it more than 4 hours a week. You can't really expect to make noticeable progress if you're only playing once a week, which is what I did for like 13 years. After that, I started playing at least 2 times a week with practices as often as I could get them. So, if you want to progress, you need to be playing frequently. And I don't mean going out to the park and talking. I mean, going out, getting on the ditch field, fighting. Two, you've got to have an idea of what you want to work on, so that you can put yourself in situations to work on that a lot. Amtgard does not focus on drilling as much as other sports. If I were going to learn how to throw a right cross left hook into a leg kick, I would drill that 100 times, 200 times, 300 times before I ever tried it in sparring. We don't do that in Amtgard, and that's because we don't take a professional or a high level sports look at it. When you're learning your basics, you should be doing them a lot. And then once you get to the point where you're doing them with good skill, I can throw that wrap shot and it looks like a wrap shot. Well, then you need to put yourself in positions and fights as often as possible to practice that and not get discouraged when it doesn't work the first 20 or 50 times you try it.
Right.
Because you're trying to figure out where to put your body. So persistence, repetition, and listening to your body. Because I say all this, I say, hey, you really need to get at it, really be thinking about it all the time, all that. But you also need to not break your elbow and have to sit out for 6 months. Like my best
Thank
friend
you,
Miller.
man.
I love him, but he hurt his elbow and now he can't play. And
And
he's
we're
very
mad at
sad.
him for it.
I think DeVry said it all.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah, I didn't say it all.
something I would add for sure is like it's a long path. It's not going to go quickly, and if you find yourself not having fun, do something else for a while. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
if you're pushing real hard, fighting in every tournament, trying to win every fight, and you can hit a point where you're instead of losing graciously or whatever, you get angry, then keep fighting or whatever, but only fight for fun for a while. Hold office, focus on build an armor kit for battle gaming or something. Do something else and come back to it. It'll still be there. This tournament target's going to go away.
Gunnar Miller, you guys got anything to add?
The only thing I'd like throw in, I mean, Ryan hit like a lot of good points on that. Straight up covered a lot of it, but I'd say like plain and simple, like you got to be down for the diligence and the time and the effort. You have to, and the main thing is that you got to love it. Like love your fighting. You got to want to be passionate about it. You got to like passion and love for something like that you want to be good at is like the perfect soil for growth. It's the perfect, you know what I mean? It's the perfect thing to be striving for when you're reaching for whatever you're reaching for. So you got to love it. You know, you can't be waking up every day, you know, like dreading, oh, I got to go fight on the ditch line. I got to go do this. I got to work this shot. I got to pedal. I got to watch this video. You got to love watching that video. You got to be breaking off that ditch line. You have to be wanting to pedal instead of playing, you know, doing whatever you were doing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You have to love it. You have to find love in it.
If you're just trying to do it for like, if you're just trying to do it for status and not because you actually love it, that's how we get like cheaters and trash like fighters who are only doing it for the glory, not for the love of it.
Straight up.
Yeah, I think once again we've all hit on the same thing. If you're not having fun with it, if you're doing it for status, then you're not going to enjoy it when it gets hard. You need to be able to enjoy the difficulty and find joy in things that are hard to do. People don't climb mountains because it's easy. They do it because it's hard, right? Like you have to understand that it's going to be a grind and you have to pace yourself so you're not burning out your body and your mind. Okay, I'm done.
It's a hard question because there's so much info you can give, and it's definitely a hard path. So I'm going to move on to a few questions that viewers pre-submitted to me. So the first one is this player at their home park seems to have their park members seem to have a lot of fun when they're not in the battle games. And then once that player joins in the battle game, it usually seems to make the team one-sided and less fun. How do you suggest that player handles that situation and ensures that everyone's having fun and that they can still play?
Virtual fist bump, right? Like,
yeah. So
that's basically the
Gen and I, Gen and I have dealt with that as a pair. If one of us isn't playing to balance the other out, then generally teams are lopsided. I found the best way, if you're a really good battle gamer and a really good fighter, is to play almost a purely support role. Something like a battery bard or a druid, but don't give out like golem stacks if the other team doesn't have dispel, things like that. You can modulate yourself to be a healer. You can modulate yourself and not pick up a stick, right? You don't have to be the frontline fighter to be effective and have fun in a battle game and make sure other people get to be the MVP. You give that kid stone skin, if he knows what he's doing, he might score the point when otherwise he'd die, right? So you can make other people the MVP by playing a support class rather than being up in the mix.
Well, at the end of the day, I think we all play Amtgard to have fun. So, you know, letting other people have a good time is part of it.
Well, like you find ways to
definitely had to do that. Well, Greenwood is a perfect example. We definitely had to deal with that because we have DeVry and I at the park. You know, Colton's there too, so we have to watch each other and make sure everyone else is having a good time too. I'll be good at it most of the time. Try.
Again, do you remember that battle game where we were both in? It was a militia game, and we were both in 3 points of chainmail, and we just decided to sit at the respective bases.
Yeah, we didn't leave base at all. We didn't leave spawn the entire time. Like an hour-long game, we didn't walk anywhere. Let everybody else find it out.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I was thinking you can find ways to scratch your competitive itch without necessarily unbalancing things. Like you can do the supporting role thing, or you could just find ways to nerf yourself down and give yourself more of a challenge while also balancing things out. Like beyond the scope of battle games, I've seen tournaments where there was someone who had been, let's say, winning all the tournaments, and they went in and instead of fighting in the Florentine bracket with 2 short swords, they fought with a short sword and a dagger. And in sword and board, they fought with a short sword and a buckler instead of a full like medium shield. So you can do things to push yourself, be like have that competitive feeling, and then also try to even things out a little bit. But also like The questions seem kind of battle game centric, but in fighting, if you're at a park where you're like just strictly fighting, where you're like the top dog fighter, nobody can beat you, you need to be teaching them so they can get better and start challenging you. So, I mean, just actively trying to make them better. Well, not make, don't be aggressive about it, but help them. Force them to be better. No.
You will block strike for the next hour.
Yeah, just like one of those things where the rising tide raises all ships type thing. So, yeah, you can nerf yourself down for a challenge and build them up so they're not having that problem.
Yep. Miller time?
I think a lot of good things were touched just now, like with DeVry and Ganonormus and stuff. But I would say like reading the room and just like especially like in battle games and before battle games, just being personally kind of aware a little bit more of everybody's mood. Like, are you kind of pushing their buttons? Are you like power game in it? Do you need to dumb it down? Like, I know like everybody's kind of there for fun, but we all need to be aware as well. You know what I'm saying? And I do really agree with the fact that, you know, if you are just kind of killing it at your park, whether it's in casting or fighting or whatever, you should be kind of like thinking of reasons or like ways to kind of help everybody out or try to get everybody to have the opportunity to kind of be on your level or learn. So, I don't know, you shouldn't just be like slumming it on everybody or just killing everybody like that. Like, you should kind of be more well aware of, like, and read the room of how people are, how they're acting, or if they're getting aggravated. Maybe you turn it down, dumb it down a little bit.
Cool. So the next question, guys, next few questions might be a little much, but I know the sword path is very controversial right now at Amtgard. So, but the question from this viewer is, do you think that 10 Orders of the Warriors should be the only way towards the sword belt right now? Like, do you guys think there should be any alternatives? Should there be like a different masterhood in the sword path? Like, what are you guys' thoughts? Like, again, there's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. Your answer could be no. I don't care. And go.
Ormus, you want to start?
Sure. I think that, you know, when you're talking about a sword belt, I don't feel like fighting prowess is the only thing that should be looked at when you're talking about sword knight. There's other aspects, obviously, like instruction and you know, obviously knightly qualities, but I don't have a good example of what it could look like, but I don't think we should necessarily be married to the 10 Orders of the Warrior, this very strict path, and this is the only way to do it. I would be open to new ideas, like more involving, like, you know, some sort of reward for teaching fighting classes and stuff like that. I've seen that thrown around on the internet a little bit, and but like I said, yeah. So I mean, I would be open to something different, but I don't have an idea of what it would look like. If someone had a good idea, I'd be more than willing to listen.
Anybody else?
I mean, I'm into it. If something comes along and it's made official, it's just something else to work on, you know? So, I don't see any issue with there being another path to Sword Knight.
Miller, you got anything controversial to say?
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of see the sides of both coin, honestly. But I'm pretty open to like anything. I don't know. It's been something that's standard for a long, long time. So I don't know if it's going to change without serious resistance.
So Duke just asked about adding griffins to the sword path, re-adding griffins. I think, I don't know about adding griffins. I'd have to think about that. I know it used to be part of it. I think there's movement now for a battle game path, and I really like the idea of rewarding players for actually playing the game that we play. Not the things that are attached to the game, like the tournaments and crafting and stuff. That's all great, and I think we need to keep those awards and all that. I definitely don't want to abolish anything, but not having a knight's belt directly tied to the actual game we play, I think, is ridiculous. So there's a suggestion for the Battle Master path, which effectively, if you had 4 paragons, you would be then qualified for a masterhood or a sword belt. And at least one of the paragons, I think, has to be a melee class. Or maybe it's 2 and 2. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact write-up. But I think that's a good framework to start from. I don't know if that's the end-all, be-all. But I think it's a good way to kind of look at it going forward. I think maybe Paragon's a little too...
It's really subjective.
Yeah, it's a little too subjective. I agree.
It really is.
It's ambiguous. Go ahead.
Yeah, another knight's belt attached to that, as opposed to like a separate like path to sword belt as far as battle games go. I wouldn't see any problem with a 5th belt for something like that, but I mean, it seems like if you with like I don't know, with a serpent belt, it's while there's multiple different ways to get there, they're all variations of art. You know what I mean? It's you have to be artistic in some way, and like the idea that you could be a sword knight because you know, like, I don't know exactly how they would frame it. Like you said, probably 1 paragon in melee class, but to be able to achieve sword knight by being really good at wizard and bard doesn't really track. So I mean,
No, I get that.
I think it would make more sense that I would fully support it being its own belt. It makes sense to be rewarded for the main part of the game. But like, as far as griffins go too, I mean, I think finding a way to incorporate them would be cool. I don't know about 10 Orders of the Griffin equaling a sword belt either, sort of for the same thing where, I mean, you can get griffins for performance in battle games. You can get griffins for, it's so, or they are so much more subjective than like your first, say, 5 Orders of the Warrior are very structured and don't require a lot of, there's not the requirement of being a kingdom level, stuff like that. So I don't know. I think there would be a lot more very subjective sword belts out there if that were the case.
Alan posted that he thinks there should be multiple paths to Sword Knight, and he is a Sword Knight, including a battle game path of some sort and a combo of Champion, Defender, Weapon Master, War Master, and Orders of the Griffin. So some other way in order to get a sword belt, which, I mean, I can see arguments for all of those things.
Right.
Sure.
Cool. Good conversation. Obviously, that whole thing, like everything about Order of the Warrior right now is very controversial, I feel like, in multiple aspects. So I think it's good to hear from you guys about different things that you feel on it. So next question from one of our viewers that was pre-submitted was, how do you guys feel about Orders of the Warrior being possibly given out for team tournaments? So like a 2v2 tournament, a 3-man team type tournament where like you go in, like, I don't know, I would say like, I've seen them where they're bear pit style and you go in with your 3 men and then you fight together. And then if you guys win, you 3 stay in and then the next group comes in. Like, how do you guys feel about Orders of the Warrior for those kind of tournaments? Should it be a thing? Should it not be a thing?
I've thought about this one for a bit. And one of the problems that I have with it is like, let's say theoretically I were to go into a 2-man team tournament. I could take Moses in with me and sit down and watch, I feel like, and still do well in the tournament. And I mean, but I'd about to guess having it be something like sort of similar to how we have Battlefield Prowess, even bumping up Battlefield Prowess to being able to award up to 7. And you can even specifically mention team tournaments. But I think having it, being able to get a Warlord off of streaks in a team tournament seems like you could cheat the system a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt. I totally agree with that completely.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you can just kind of like, someone should just walk in and just have their 2 best friends be like really great top fighters.
Yeah.
Do nothing and then just earn warriors for it.
It's like for teaming up and being on a team and then being like, all right, well, I'm going to sit out this time. And then the next round I'll sit it out.
Well, a lot of the higher up fighters tend to gravitate towards each other in friend circles and stuff like that. So I mean, like if we're looking for our buddies to go and do a team tournament, it could create an environment where the same teams are always going to be there stopping other like progression stuff like that. And we could keep getting our own progression without any sort of real sense of balance, you know?
Well, wouldn't that
Yeah,
drive
I'm
other
not.
people to get better? You know, isn't that kind of what the sword pass about anyway?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just on an individual level. So I don't mind it being given out for maybe up to 5, but past that
I
it would be
say first through 4,
kind of
I could
sticky.
see, but
I'm more generous than you guys. I'd give 7.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's just me.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd be down for lower level orders, but I would rather see another. I would rather see team fighting in general being more focused on an Amtgard. Whether that be by highlighting tournaments that are team fighting tournaments, or adding some sort of a ladder, maybe not to a belt, but some sort of a ladder for like the tactician ladder or something, so people can get their box tops for whatever their feel good awards for actually team fighting well. But I think the biggest issue is sometimes in a team fighting scenario, you're either dead weight or it's really hard to differentiate. Like, well, was this guy's you know contribution worth a 5th, and was this guy's worth a 3rd, and was this guy's over here worth a 7th, right? Like, the same fight can't be worth a couple dozen different like orders of the warrior. Like,
Well,
it's
and
a
the
little
fact
too
of the matter is
complicated in my opinion.
the people giving out the awards, like the monarchs and stuff, are normally not sitting there watching a tournament. They're looking at paperwork at the end.
no, for sure.
They can't tell how much you contributed a lot of times because they're not that focused. They got other stuff to do, or they don't necessarily care about the tournament. You know.
All right.
So next question is also one of those more controversial. As you guys probably are aware, there's been a lot of talk about women fighters. Like, why haven't we seen a woman sword knight in almost 2 decades? You know, our only one is Sir Boots, that I think she plays in like Texas. So, do you guys have any ideas or like possible solutions for how you would like to see the progression of women coming more into the fighting realm, and possibly one day getting us a new sword knight or warlord, even who's a woman?
Yeah, stop getting butthurt about women's tournaments.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know who you are out there. Not you.
To be honest, I actually kind of think, like, especially in our area right now in our kingdom, it's kind of like polar opposite. Especially compared to like the last 5 years, I've seen more women in Amtgard fighting in the last 5 years than like previously before. Like, more women out there having fun, ditching, fighting, playing battle games, stuff like that. So I think, to be honest, we're in like a weird time to where it's a bit different. Like, I feel like women feel like they see more women out there right now, and like the flux of women is far like more. So if they see more women out there like that, like, we can in general, like, all those women in general would just feel like more safe to that environment. Like, they won't be like, I don't know like how to explain this, but like, they won't be like, oh man, I don't want to go out there and try to ditch or learn how to fight. But if they see other women out there and stuff like that, they might for 1 second be like, well, fuck, if she can do that, I could do it. So
Right.
I don't know. So I think it's like, from what I see, it's totally opposite. I think far more women are being respected, as well as like just being looked at as like in a positive way for fighting in general. So I don't know. I think as far as our kingdom goes, it's completely different.
I'd say we've had a good start for sure, but I think we need to quit thinking of like a women's tournament with like an asterisk, where like if you look at it like, oh, like this person won this tournament. Oh,
did you stop talking because you kind of cut out?
I think it
I
dropped.
thought that was me.
Uh-oh.
They lost.
They froze.
They froze.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
They froze.
Oh, bummer. Well, hey guys. So I guess I'll start now. So I think the biggest thing we can do is improve mentorship for up and coming fighters of all genders. If we help nurture the up and coming fighters, if we help nurture and teach the fighters who are trying to, push their way through those first couple years of fighting and get their feet under them, then it's going to help in general for all of us to get better as fighters.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, we lost them.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, I agree. Just helping them build their confidence. Trying to cut out that, machismo and cut back on the just being toxic in general, making
That's
it a
what
more
I was.
welcoming place. We'll get more people out.
Is having like
Yeah, let's stop being trash.
a
Let's do
positive
this.
environment.
Be nice
Well,
guys.
since Veronica's not here, yeah,
Not the
no.
main
Well,
thing.
nice guys have a bad connotation. Just be good people.
There you go.
Like
there's some other questions since
Well, let's
Veronica's gone.
Go up in the chat and find one.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Can you still hear me?
Hey,
All right?
chat, if we're
Mhm.
still here, ask more questions.
DeVry, can you still hear me? All right.
Or copy paste one from earlier.
Or copy and paste from earlier.
I guess not. No.
It's a good start, Alan. I like that. I can't scroll all the way up, unfortunately. Oh wait, here we go. Oh, did we lose Miller now?
Well, I lost
No, we
Miller a
lost
while ago.
Miller.
He's not on my screen and I can't hear him.
Oh, so it's just us. Hey, let's
It's
talk
just
crap
me,
about everybody
as far as
else.
I know, but I can see Miller on the computer.
I don't see Miller on the computer anymore. Okay.
Drop.
Kylan Beard asked, what's the best way to pursue mentorship on a park day? Not talking like an apprenticeship, but a day of pickup coaching. What I would say is if you specifically want a higher level fighter to kind of focus on teaching you, you should ask them ahead of time so they can kind of get in the headspace of coaching. Because I know as somebody who coaches, not necessarily professionally, but as like an assistant MMA coach, if I'm going in to train versus if I'm going in to coach, I'm in a very different headspace on what I'm looking for. Like if I'm sparring somebody and working on stuff for myself, I'm not necessarily going to be paying as much attention to what they can improve on. Rather, I could tell you what I can tell you what I'm doing to, beat you, but I'm not going to necessarily have the same bandwidth in my brain to give you positive advice. Yeah, so like Trevor said, we need to know to watch you. Okay, so I think we're still going. The
think
host
so.
went offline, but I think we're still going.
Host went
Okay,
offline.
cool.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. So we'll keep talking. Do you have anything to add to that question? What's the best way to pursue a good way to pursue mentorship?
The question. The best way to pursue. So, if you see someone doing something that you like, hit them up at the end of the day and ask them like, "Hey, how do you do that? How did you do that? Is there anything you can teach me?" Quite often, I'll be on the lookout. Like on the lookout, but I'll watch out if someone's watching me, kind of thing. So, just approach them and ask. Don't interrupt what they're up to. If they're sparring with somebody,
they're back.
Watch
Hi.
politely.
Yeah, Miller dropped out too.
Yeah.
He said to hit him up when we're ready, so if you could just let him know and he'll jump back in.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know what happened, but like I don't understand how you guys were able to keep going. I shut down the computer and restarted it. It's weird. I don't know.
Sometimes you just got to persevere.
Yeah.
You guys did. Killing it.
Yeah. Great job. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Hold on, somebody. Josh Miller, Belmore asked a question I want to answer really quick. Josh, yes, you can be a good teacher and not be a great fighter. You can be a good coach, not be a great fighter. Greg Jackson's one of the best MMA coaches in the world, or was for a long time, and he was never a professional fighter. He was never that. He was never a top level martial artist. There's plenty of coaches who coach football who are never the top level athletes or fighters because they didn't have the athleticism, but they had a good brain for it.
No doubt.
Those who can do teach, but not saying you're bad at it. You might have a really good
ways too. Just because you're a good fighter doesn't make you a good coach.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to go back to the question that we were doing before we disappeared because Ormus was in the middle of talking and then I missed everything you guys said. So sorry, I'm going to repeat yourselves. So Ormus, you want to finish up what you were talking about with women fighters?
Yeah, I was just saying that we do eliminate the asterisk of it was a women's tournament and just use the same ideas that we would use, because I've fought in plenty of tournaments where it was all men. No one looked at that differently and said, well, there was no women to challenge him, so that's pretty much what I was getting at, honestly.
Basically, I said we should be working on mentoring people of all genders and making the general fighting culture more inclusive and helpful to bringing people up, especially as they're first starting, and giving them good building blocks to continue their journey on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just want to, I don't know, I think that women should just be given more credit at this moment, because I think there's more women fighting than there ever has been right now, and more women participating in tournaments, more women being respected more than there ever has in right now. So, I don't know. Got to look at that.
Cool. Again, did you have anything to say?
No, just be good people. Cut out the toxic behavior
For real.
toward people that that aren't as good as you. And I think we'll have a better time all around.
Cool. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and open up everything to our viewers. So we're going to get some questions flowing in. You guys already started answering some of them. So let's see. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to type them up. We'll give you a few moments.
I think
See, I'm going to go scroll through too.
If you guys have any more questions, please start posting them.
One thing real quick is that I saw that someone posted that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't let the lack of perceived problems stop you from trying to improve things. Honestly, we could always be making progress and pushing forward and doing things better. Nothing's perfect. So there are ways.
Continued evolution is a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't want it to grow stagnant.
Who in the Northern Lights?
Oh, let's see. So Killian asks, who in the Northern Lights are the better instructors for fighting and why?
I think a lot of the fighters bring something different when it comes to
Glenn shit, man. My bad.
When it comes to instruction, they all bring kind of something different. I would say like Dog Boy is more of the you'll fight and stuff, and he's a good motivator. You kind of want like his style of teaching makes you want to fight better. Like Cyric and Sho both have a more cerebral approach where they can break things down a little bit better and get into the why a little more as opposed to the how, if that makes sense. I I haven't worked with Duke too much, honestly. Like most of our instruction has been through just fighting and getting to know each other. But you guys would, DeVryan Gay would know more about his style, I think.
Duke's style is a bit more of a we'll fight and then we'll kind of discuss the fight. He's
Little
good at
tips
that.
and
He's
tricks
really
along the
good
way.
at he's good at reading stuff and kind of telling you why you're screwing up. I think Cyric is probably one of the most technical instructors we have. If he would do more of it, I'd be super stoked. I think I'm pretty good at kind of teaching to a larger class. I have a lot of experience through jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and I can kind of get the basics out to people in a larger group. But one-on-one, I don't know. I think I would like people that I work one-on-one with to be, a little bit more like I would work with somebody in MMA and they're a little more serious about it. But in a group setting, I don't mind at all teaching. It's great. But morphed into a different question. Go ahead.
Anybody else?
I haven't necessarily had too much like one-on-one teaching from a lot of the Sword Knights or the Warlords from NL. Like on and off, I've like asked them about certain things or like went to their classes and things like that. But a lot of my teaching comes from like a lot of outside of Kingdom, a lot of different other people. I think they're all pretty good teachers, nonetheless. Like they all have their own aspects they could teach you and stuff like that. But I don't know. I haven't really started learning from them. Besides kind of emulating what they do or just asking them about what I'm curious about since like a lot of my later years now. So
I just kind of watch people I want to learn from and internalize it, try to pick it up that way.
I would say Sho was really the one of the main people who kind of took me like under his wing for a year and taught me a lot about like Florentine and in general stick work and how to think and how to like read. So, but we would fight a lot, and he would kind of like Duke like sit me down and break me down and start talking about things, or he would watch my tournament fights and come to me and tell me what I was doing good or what I should capitalize on or things like that. So.
Let's see. Did you guys talk about Kylan's question while we were out about would it be more appropriate to ask for coaching the next week or the day of, or just ask at the beginning of the day for fighting? Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about that a little
I know
bit.
I know I commented on yeah, we did.
Okay. Cool.
Well, wait, let's answer Duke's right there.
Which one?
Yeah,
What's your
Duke's got a good one.
Oh yeah, so this one's from Duke. He wants to know, what's your favorite drink?
We're assuming alcohol.
Yeah,
What-
come
I
on.
don't drink.
Here.
That's why I win tournaments, because I'm not hungover.
That's not a terrible point, honestly. You see a lot of people at campouts, and it's the night before a tournament, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about that guy.
Just don't hang out with the Gar and you'll be fine.
Ormus, what's your favorite drink? Beer?
No, I haven't. No, not anymore.
What kind of beer was in that keg, Ormus? Because it's that one.
I don't remember.
Ask Belnarn. It was his beer.
I think it was Blue Moon, which was unfortunate because I definitely liked that beer until the next day. But I would say my go-to drink is normally like if I'm at a bar, probably like a Long Island iced tea or something like that. But if I'm at a camp out, anything that I know what it is and a stranger didn't hand me, I'm not about that.
That's funny. Let's see. All right. Any other questions? Unfortunately, I can't see the questions from before my computer crashed for some reason. So, DeVry, if you
I'll scroll back up through.
Yeah, if you can even send them to me and I can post it up, but or copy and paste it and I can share it. But I can't see anything from past when I said restarting computer. So,
it's not letting me scroll all the way up.
Somebody
right now.
asking us to restate our Orders of the Warrior and the amount of years we've played.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So if you guys want to answer that one.
Yeah, we never
again.
get into how many years we played.
So how long have you been playing? And then again, how many Orders of the Warrior do you have?
I've been playing for like 17 or 18 years, and I have 8 Orders of the Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing for 9 years, and I have 7 Orders of the Warrior.
Fast tracking it.
I've been playing for roughly 15 years, and I have 10 Orders of the Warrior.
I've been playing for 17 years. Probably like really actively and aggressively for about 14 of those. And I have 9 Orders of the Warrior.
Morpheus Ismail, he asked top five favorite fights not in Northern Lights. So this is nationwide.
Fights or fighters?
Probably fighters.
He said fights.
Fights.
Okay.
He said fights.
Should we just assume
Who you like to
fighters?
scrape up against? I think that's basically what he meant. If he wants to, then
Yeah.
if he wants to specify,
When I went to Spring
I think
War,
it's who. Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
When I went to Spring War this last time, I think I would put up there. Definitely had fun fighting Delos, but also one of my favorite fighters to fight there was Worm. He was a lot of fun to throw down with one of the torches. So Delos, he said top 5. So outside the Northern Lights, I don't travel a ton, so it's a harder question. Lily too. Lily is a lot of fun to fight. You gotta get your mind right when you fight him. So it's gotta be like really paying attention, dude. So fucking sneaky. Arthon was a ton of fun to fight. What's that for?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton more, but trying to think of like specifically. I don't think he lives in the Northwest anymore. So Bokdar, he was a Belagarth guy, a ton of fun to fight.
Yeah, super fun to fight.
Yeah. I'm cheating because I fought him when he was in the Northwest. He lives in like the Midwest somewhere, so I'm using it.
Iowa or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shion's fantastic. Okay, I'll answer. So Morpheus is actually one of my favorite fights. I try to track him down every time I see him to fight him, and I can't tell if he enjoys it or not.
He's bothering him.
But yeah, like, every time I go like, "Hey, you want to fight?" He's like, "I guess," and he looks really annoyed. But I think that's just his normal way. I like fighting Megiddo. He's my knight, and he gives me a lot of great tips. He's actually a lot of fun. Let's see. So I want to say Shion, but Shion's page, he's a young kid, and he beat me in a 1st to 10, and he's my favorite fight right now until I get it back. It was like 10 to 9, and he's like 17 or something like that. He's a young kid, and he's real good.
Blonde kid that basically fights exactly like Shion.
Yeah, he's the blonde kid. And I fought Shion same event and broke a sword over Shion, and Shion said I won that. And I was like, I don't think I won that, but okay, I'll take it.
Who that kid was, and they were like, that's baby Shion.
Baby Shion.
So your favorite fighter is whoever has your lunch money at the time?
Yeah, whoever has. So Lily Sunshine, want to smack him down some more. There's a dude. Yeah, yeah. There's a dude, 9. He's a rogue, and he's a lot of fun to fight. He's a really interesting fight for me because he does things where I'm like, I should be able to beat that, but he's fast enough to where I can't. Yeah, Quavo, he's great. Was that 4?
I'm not counting.
Okay. And then I've only fought Sponge once, but I want to fight him more. And if saying he's one of my favorite fights will get him to fight me, then he's one of my favorite fights.
Nice. Gan, how about you? Now remember, not NL, so it could be VO and Black Spire people also.
Yeah, anytime I get
you could
Black
cheat
Star,
that
I have
way.
a good time. I've only traveled nationally twice, and both those times I've been preoccupied with clan, and I had monarchy stuff both times I was there. So I wasn't really focused on the fighting as much as I would like. So I don't have a lot. Anytime someone comes in for an event from out of state, I'd love to fight them. Just don't have a lot to add to this one, I guess.
All right. So the next question is from Duke. How often do you see an obvious bait from an opponent and secretly say thank you to yourself because you are faster than they are, and then you snipe it? Like, how often do you guys do that?
Are we talking about success rate? Because 100% of the time, if I see it, I'm shooting for it.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get it, but I think I'm faster than you is 100% of the time. Sometimes I'm wrong. Probably wrong more often than not, but
I'd have to agree.
I would say go ahead.
I try for it all the time.
I would say
DeVry, let the man speak.
Jesus Christ, DeVry.
No, I'm done. Fine. No, I'm not talking anymore.
Right.
Oh no, you have to chair spin.
Yeah.
Right. Nice hair.
Thank you.
What were you saying again?
I think about 100% of the time, like Ormus, I'll shoot for it if I think I can hit it. One of the early lessons I got from Duke, honestly, in fighting is if I can see it, I can hit it. And I go in with that mentality every single time. So.
If it's an obvious bait, a lot of times I'm going to think for it before I throw it just to see what their trap trigger is. And then if they put the bait up again, then I'll throw for it. But there's some times where I'm just like, that's too juicy. Your guard's way too low. You're not going to catch it. So I'd say 50, 60% of the time, because I've got relatively good hand speed, but I'm not as fast as Oramus as far as hand speed goes. So I don't necessarily trust that I'm always going to beat it. So sometimes I'll throw for it, intending for them to trigger the trap so I can counter their counter.
That's the best, is when you do get that fake off and they kind of move away from their bait, and then you end up hitting them in the bait spot anyway. The look on their face, the feeling they never want to try to bait that again. So yeah.
See, you guys are over here playing mental chess. I'm just trying to play some hungry hippos, all right?
Right.
I usually don't throw it to it. I don't know. I feel like with a lot of top end fighters, a lot of people I fight, they usually just throw that to kind of counter you or make you, like DeVry was saying, kind of get you into a trap. So I kind of I don't know, I'd say I have a low percentage on doing that because I'm always stuck in my mind, are they baiting that? Is that for real, or can I be fast enough? So I don't know.
Yeah, for a serious answer though, it definitely depends on the opponent. If I see Miller peeking his shoulder out, I'm probably not going to think I'm faster, or DeVry again, but yeah, I mean, either throw for it or fake for it. Honestly, if you're in my opinion, if you're not doing one of those two, you're just letting them get away with something.
Yeah, very true. Straight up.
I like how Maddie says speed doesn't matter in a fight when he's one of the fastest guys in the kingdom.
Yeah.
I love you, Maddie, but you got some wicked hand speed, bro.
Well, he's not the end all be all. It won't. But it's helpful.
It's helpful.
no one was ever going to a fight going, damn, I wish I was slower.
Oh my gosh. All right. So to our viewers, looks like there's still 15 of you on here. So if you commented a question like way in the beginning and we didn't answer it, you can please feel free to retype it out because I can't go back and see it to share with the guys. Otherwise, we'll give you guys a few more moments. We'll probably just chat for a minute and then we'll probably close up if nobody's got anything else to ask.
I got a question for the panel.
Yeah.
What have you guys been working on in the last year to really like improve? Like, what's your focus been on in the last year?
I'll go first. This last year has just been like a huge focus on my swording board, I'd say, as well as just my reading, like reading myself, as well as my opponent. Being able to read my opponent and myself, like take away things. But mainly it's been on my sword and board focused. I think the single, Florentine, and sword and board are like 3 of the main chain links to kind of getting in the tournament headspace, kind of understanding those things, mastering those 3 techniques, kind of get you a good standing in tournament ranks. So it's just been mainly understanding my sword and board and reading returns and reading myself and stuff like that, reading my opponent. It's my main thing. Is a lot of the mental aspect, I'd say, just to sum it up, mental aspect, working on that.
Again?
I had a lot of mundane stuff happening in the last year, so fighting hasn't been a laser focus in front of me, but it's getting more towards that. I think most of what I've been trying to do in the last year has been focusing on what I do wrong in a fight and trying not to do it the next time, and just little improvements like that.
Yeah, you saw at the beginning of the video, dude. He was busy working on making a baby.
Yeah.
No.
No. Well, you went somewhere dirty with that. This is on you.
He wasn't making the baby. There was a baby.
No, it wasn't making the baby in the video. The baby already exists. That's not how you need 9 months of waiting until that would happen.
Yeah, the baby's here, guys. Let's just.
Yeah. That's not how science works.
Oh my gosh.
But no,
Hey, Gen,
Yeah.
what stork call did you use? Stork call? No? Nobody?
No.
All right.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Not funny. Not funny.
So for what I've been working on over the last year, really, I say that my main focus is trying to work on being more adaptable in my fighting. Like, if I go in with a plan or I'm going to do this combination as shot and it doesn't work, what am I going to do next? Or, just trying to stay in the fight when things don't go my way, stuff like that. It's a lot of mental and honestly, like it's mental and a lot of footwork for whatever, like I've found that as my footwork improves, my adaptability has improved. So a little bit of focus on basics and footwork, but yeah, adaptability, trying to be creative and stay in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
For me, for like the last 2 years, I've been really working on trying to add the sword side hip with a variety of shots into my targeting. And then like for the last year, basically until I went to Spring War, I had been focusing on not just being recklessly aggressive, because that's how I used to fight, just forward. And it actually like made me focus so much on countering that I was getting, the crap faked out of me at Spring War. And so now I'm trying to open up my offensively being more potent and threatening and adding to shot variety so I can throw better openers. So people are still respecting me, but I'm not necessarily having to chase them down for them to respect me. So I'm kind of balancing aggression and defensively sound movement.
Looks like Tanner had a quick question.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh wait.
Let's see. We got a couple more. So first one though is from Killian. What's your favorite I broke the sword in that fight story? I feel like everybody has a broken sword story. What's your guys' favorite?
I got a good one. Well, I mean, maybe good for me, but I was fighting Robin, and he had just come home from or come back from like going to SKBC in Texas and stuff. So his fighting was pretty intense at the time, and he had always in the past one of his one of his go-to ways to kill me was with his reverse spin. And we were sparring. We're actually in a cornfield doing a quest, but the quest had died down, so we were just doing some sparring at the time. And Robin threw this nasty backspin with this MC wrap sword that he had. I was able to block it, and the way that I had blocked it, but also snapped the sword on my hand, like not like it wasn't like painful or anything, but the bringing down my sword, being able to block his shot and break his sword at the same time was pretty can't think of the word. Whatever. It was nice.
I've got two. At Keep on the Borderlands, I got Shion to fight a 1st to 10 with me. And for whatever reason, I was doing fairly well. And we were at like 8-8. And I hit a backspin. I hit Wakanda Forever and broke my sword on his hip and got away clean. I survived.
What?
And
Holy shit.
yeah. And then he was like, that was dope, man. I think you I think you win that 1st to 10. I'm like, I mean, I'll take it, but I did break my sword. So that was pretty dope. That was a really that was pretty validating because before that his page beat my ass. So, I got a little back. And then the other one, I built a couple pole arms for the Kingdom Crown Qualls. This last Crown Qualls we had, I built some pole arms because I was tired of people complaining they didn't have pole arms. And a couple weeks later, I was letting Ishva use one. And I was using my pole that I always use, and he was using one of the new ones, and he did a down block, like he put the tip in the ground, and I chopped through the pole and broke my own pole with my pole. So that one sucked.
Nice.
Yeah, I never really break weapons. I always have weapons like broken on me, and it's always like right after someone makes them. It's always a brand new, like pretty sword.
Miller, be the hammer, not the nail.
Yeah, Miller, the fuck, man.
I'm gonna say, like, DeVry, haven't you broke a few swords on me before? Like, I feel like you have.
I didn't really start breaking swords until I started spinning. Like, I broke a sword on Shaden too. So
there's a lot of power that generates from those spins. Like,
yeah, and I'm a big dude, so between those two things, yeah. But I never really broke swords until I started spinning, even though I hit fairly hard.
again, how about you?
Cheese or tip out. I think I've broken a polearm once in jugging.
Mhm.
Nothing too
That's where you
crazy.
break them.
Nice. So next question is from Cyric, and it's, are you aware of when you hit plateaus? And if so, do you have any mechanics for working through them?
I'll answer really quick. Cyric, yeah, usually I'm pretty aware when I feel like I've not been improving. And generally what I'll do is I will focus on something else for a little while, like a different thing to improve on, to kind of clear my mind from what's been, what I've been holding on. So if I've been working a lot on lateral footwork and not getting what I want, then I'll work on a specific shot instead or something like that, just to give my brain something else to think about.
I can judge how deep into a plateau I am based on how frustrated I am.
Yeah.
Agree with that. Sure enough.
Yeah.
But it might not even manifest outwardly, but like it's a lot of times you'll be fighting someone you used to whoop up on, and all of a sudden they're putting it to you. You're like, all right, we got a problem. But I don't have anything specific I do to work through it. I've hit enough plateaus over the years that I just know that if I just keep doing my thing, it'll pass. There'll be another aha moment or some sort of light switch that'll go off for something. It's a lot of faith that the plateau will end.
As far as like things to deal with it, I don't know. I like Gorma said, I get frustrated, so I often like come down to myself sometimes. So like talking to my friends or talking to people close to me or people that fight me all the time, it's pretty good. I don't know. They can kind of like tell you the truth when you're kind of beating yourself up a little bit, or maybe you're just getting an outside perspective. Also, I like to grind my basics a lot and like go out and watch videos I haven't seen, or just basically like broaden my horizons, start working on a new shot, start working on something that I know I need to work on, stuff like that.
Anybody else?
Again,
You all pretty much said it. I just know I've hit it when I get angry at myself, frustrated, can't do, just it's the feeling that I did this last weekend. Why is it so hard this weekend, kind of thing. That's when I know I've hit something, and I just kind of need to. I take a step back and focus on something else, and try to push through it.
All right. I'm going to just take 2 more questions, one from Unum and one from Show, and then we're going to close it out because we've well gone past an hour, going on to almost an hour and 45 or something like that. So
do this all night.
Yeah, we can do it all night. Yeah. I'm pretty sure again, my wife would kill us. She's like, time to switch the baby around.
Pretty much.
So Tanner says, is there a specific fight or moment related to fighting that you will always remember? Like the time I did on X. So a fight that you guys will always remember. I
have 2. One was the backspin breaking on Xion. That was pretty dope. The other one's more embarrassing. When I first started learning how to backspin, I tried to backspin on Robin at an NLCC at Miller, Sylvania, and I backspun myself to the ground and twisted my ankle.
Oof, that sounds painful.
It was dope.
That's like, man, that's like trying to teach Spanish to someone from like Spain. You can't do it, Robin. Just don't.
That's why I wanted to do it.
I don't really have any specific ones. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff like that, just nothing really super specific. I'd say
Miller.
Next one was Prison Stars, and like Lunard came down, and he has a specific shot. It's called the foxtail. It's like it's like bait to your offhand side and hit you in your forward side shoulder. And he'd been getting me with it for like years, like the last summer, like every event he just landed anytime he wanted to. And I'd been working on it for a while, and we met I think PACOR that year, and we were doing like the normal sparring session, like our sparring session, and I ended up like throwing that on him and like blocking like his, or like he ended up throwing that on me and blocking it. I ended up like blocking it and then throwing it right back on at him to like land it clean. So I'd say that's like the last one I remember.
I've got one with you and me, Miller. You remember that longsword and dagger fight where we simoed like 20 times? That was dope.
So that in my memories, like not too long ago, a couple months ago or whatever, the one that Cody took all the pictures of or whatever.
Yeah.
A long time ago. That was at Shrouding Mist, man.
Yep, I remember.
I've got 2. I've got a ton, obviously, like the rest of you guys. There's dozens of moments you could point to, but the first one was the first. You guys probably know, but I was previously squire to Robin. Robin did squires trials at PACOR, and the rule for the trial was that I would fight whoever wanted to fight me. Anyone who wanted to fight me could line up and fight. I would fight using whatever weapons they told me to use. They could use whatever they wanted to use against it, and I had to fight till they were done. So I fought till they were tired, and then the next person would come up, and that lasted hours. It was super long. It had to continue into the next day because I got a cramp in my calf that lasted. I still get a cramp in the same spot sometimes. I have to do extra stretching at one spot, so I did permanent damage to my body during that trial. So it was really intense and really fun. A lot of feeling of accomplishment because I did a lot to earn my Squire's belt in that one. And then the funnest fight or series of fights that I've had. I've brought it up before, but it was in a tournament. Me and Rob were going to fight in an open weapon category. We would always, before a match, it was a bracketed tournament, so you wait between your fights and stuff. So we were going in, it was our turn, and we would always go to each other and say, "What are you going to fight with? What do you want to do?" And we came up with fighting with those light two-handed swords with the crossguards I was talking about earlier. The rule was, okay, we're going to fight with this weapon combination. You're not allowed to take a hand off it. You always have to have two hands on the sword. So just watching just being involved in a fight like that, it lasted a long time. It was super fun, and I came out on top. So it had all the ingredients for the perfect encounter. It was fun, and I won. So it's perfect. Those are mine.
All right. Again, you got any good ones that you like of stories that you've done?
Or are we talking like fighting stories?
Yeah.
Like one that really stuck out to you. Like you'll remember it forever.
Oh man, there's a lot. Like, especially like down at Shattered Kingdom's first year or so, I had a couple of engagements where still to this day don't know how I came out on top. Just being so outnumbered. Just a lot of fun. Nothing specific. There's a lot,
DeVries,
my phone was doing things.
Like I feel, I feel like there's so many that I'm dumbfounded right now. But if I was just reminded of a significant thing, it would bring back tons of memories of tons of things like that. But right now, there's just so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So last question is from Show. Build your own equipment, or do you buy it, and why? So do you build your stuff, or do you buy it?
Well, I'm on this one. I've been using people's swords for the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's just neither. Borrow. I build my own because I'm a prima donna about weight and balance and stuff like that. I'll cry about it if the sword sucks. I got to make it myself.
I generally build my own stuff because until recently I didn't really have the money to pay other people to build my stuff. But I do buy all my own garb because I hate sewing. So
it's the worst.
I make my own stuff. I like being able to say that I made what I'm using, even if it is crappy. But there's always the A&S side of it is being able to improve the tech next time. So I like that.
Nice.
Well,
yeah, I've first couple swords for the first few years, but I buy stuff now, and I don't know. I usually like the stuff I buy better because I'm just not good at making swords. I'm just not as good as some of the sword makers we have in our kingdom, and I'm pretty big on specifics as well. I'm a huge crybaby if I don't like the sword. So
yeah, if I never built my own swords, I would have never crown qualled for anything. So
Nice. All right, guys. Well, that was our last question. Thank you for being our guests. I know there was lots of questions at the beginning, so maybe we can do another mini one later on. That's not as long, but just that way more people could ask questions. But also, if you guys have the chance, go back through, scroll through questions, and just type up your answers for our players, because people are always interested. So, again, thanks for joining us and being our guests, and hopefully we'll all get to fight soon once we're able to. So, peace out.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Get
guys.
some wax in when you
guys.
can.
Bye,
Yeah.
guys. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I can't delete Ormus. He's going to be here forever. So, so this was our Sword Path AMA. Again, maybe if these guys are willing, we'll do another one for a sword. Because I know a lot of you had questions at the very beginning, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go through and see them again. Hopefully these guys will be able to go through and type up their answers for you so you can see those. All of these guys are very approachable, so if you do have questions, please hit them up. They're great guys to learn from. So diving into our next sessions, I'll be reaching out to people of the Crown Path. So if you're in that Crown realm, you might see a message from me soon. And can't wait to hear from you guys. And we'll see you at the park eventually, hopefully really soon. Bye, guys.